Hey, what the hell's going on, you guys? It's Stupid Player Negative AE, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi. When do they cry? Last we left off, Oishi just showed up out of nowhere. Um, and I'm sure he's gonna say something. One thing I was kind of thinking about, I always come up with new ideas when I like sleep on this game, or like when I'm just like thinking randomly. Sometimes I'll just be like, "Oh, that's an idea." One of the ideas that I maybe thought about is that maybe the town is a hive mind. Doesn't that make a little bit more sense? Is it if everybody kind of is aware of everybody else, um, in the town, everybody except for obviously the Hyojos because they're hated by the town, and and Keiichi's family, because that would make a whole lot of sense why everybody knew everything. They wouldn't really need to talk, right? And it's all kind of led by that hag. I don't know. There's just something to be said about maybe a hive mind is behind this. Anyway, let's continue. The voice sounded mean and greasy like Uncle Edie's. It's him. Uishi.
入江先生もこんにちは。先日は遅くまでありがとうございました。
いえ、何もお役に立てませんで、申し訳ないです。
They were just going through the motions. It was obvious that they hated each other. Edie whispered to me.
私はもうここを離れますが、お家まで送りますよ。
Edie figured that Uishi was after me, so he gave me a chance to slip away. Looking at Uishi's face, it was clear that his focus was on me, not Edie. He probably intended to interrogate me until my testimony broke. I was sure I could talk my way out of it, but it'd just be a waste of time.
そうですね。じゃあ監督、そろそろ行きましょうか。
ありゃお二人でどちらかにお出かけ。
ええ、チームのユース済み会用に、他にも行くお店がたくさんありますので、この辺で私たちは失礼します。
Edie bowed. I followed suit. I had to admire how good he was at lying. He's a grown-up after all. Uishi seemed to know that it was a lie. He didn't have a warrant, so he couldn't stop us. I moved to get in Edie's car.
お怪我は大丈夫なんですか？園崎しおんさん。
I gasped when I heard that. My left hand was bandaged. It was unsightly, so I kept it in my pocket. There was no way Uishi could have been able to see it.
可能さえしなきゃきれいに治りますよ。私も子供の頃は何度か爪を剥いじゃったことがありましたがね。ほら、きれいなもんでしょう。
男の爪が綺麗でも気色悪いだけです。
Uishi scratched his head and chuckled. He's supposed to be one of the best cops at the Okinomiya PD, and he knows all about the underground activities in the region. Must have heard about my payment from somewhere. But still, that happened in the secret basement of the Sonozaki main house. Couldn't underestimate this guy's sources. Yeah, evidently as a source of a guy that like knows exactly what happened in the... It's that one guy that knows exactly what happened in that meeting. He's somewhere in the Sonozaki main family.
お見舞い、感謝感激です。じゃあ、もう行きますね。失礼します。
園崎しおんさん、私とコーヒーでも飲みに行きません？
はあ？何それ？私を口説いてんですか？
そういうことで。
遠慮します。一日は有限。わざわざ退屈なことに費やすなんて馬鹿げてますから。
もう参ったな。じゃあこうしましょう。私とのおしゃべりが退屈になったら引き止めません？そういう約束でどう？
あんたが喋るのは勝手ですが、私は喋りません。それをおしゃべりと呼べるかは怪しいですが。
ねえ、それでシオンさんは聞き役で結構。私が勝手に一方、あなたはコーヒーでも飲みながら中年親父の独り言を聞き流してくださればそれで結構です。
He was being strangely persistent. Didn't look like he was trying to poke a hole in my statement. What would he even talk about? I got a bit curious, even though I was still skeptical.
監督、すみません。 私ちょっと大石のおじさまと。
ミオじゃない、シオンさん。
I winked at him and told him not to worry. EDA didn't insist. He got in his car and drove off. Higurashi backed his car up so I could get in. Okay. I'm interested. I hopped in the back seat since I didn't want to sit next to him.
本当に喫茶店に行くの？
あなたの親類の目がない喫茶店があるなら紹介してもらえると。
チェ、それなら勝手に連行でも何でもすればいい。
Okay. He was like, let's go talk over some tea. And then when there was none that the Sonozaki family didn't own, he's just like, alright, station. That's fucking clever. That's fucking awesome. He had taken me to a nice cafe, he would have scored some points, but whatever.
書の方が都合がいいと思った。私の話が退屈になっ。
私を退屈させ、署内には腕組んで入ってあげましょうか、おじさま。
Rishi chuckled and got out of the car, escorting me inside the station. I thought he'd take me to an interrogation room, but instead he took me to an office of the investigation division. Officers in both suits and uniforms were working at their desk, answering phones. There was a desk with a plate that said Section Manager, and nearby there were couches and a table. Rishi told me to sit on the couch and then started making some instant coffee. I've never been to this part of the police station. I looked around in curiosity.
まさか取調室でカツ丼でも食わされると思いました。
Uishi brought over a tray with coffee cups on it.
想像してたより待遇が良くて驚いてます。おしらすに直で正座くらいは覚悟してたのに。
そういうのは私の趣味じゃないな。
で、おしゃべりを聞かせてくれるんじゃなかったでしたっけ？
じゃあ最初からいきなり単刀直入に。シオンさんって北条聡さんのこと好き？
はあ？速攻退屈なんで即帰りますよ。
じゃあ今のはなしということで。
I wish he must have known why I had to remove my fingernails. He wasn't trying to confirm that I liked Satoshi-kun. What he was really saying is that he knew
サ
already.
トシ君の事件当日のアリバイなら先日熊谷刑事さんに全部お話ししたつもり。
もちろん私も熊谷君の調書は読んでます。あなたがサトシ君と一緒にいたことは知ってます。
何度聞かれたって同じ話しかします。しつこく反復して聞いたらそのうちにボロ。
まさかそんなこと考えてません。
Why the fuck would you say that? That screams guilty person. I don't know. Don't try to poke holes in my statement because there is none. I'm just going to repeat the same thing. Is this something that an inherently guilty person would say? Smart person.
そんな手に引っかかるなんて思っちゃいません。
ならどういう手をか。どちらにせよ私からサトシ君のことを何か聞き出そうとしても先日お話しした以上のことは何もありません。ああ、残念。やっぱり退屈な話でしたね。私帰らそういう約束でしたからね。失礼します。
She's going to say something crazy like, even though Satoshi-kun's dead? Even though Satoshi-kun went missing?
シオンさん、確かに私はあなたからサトシさんのアリバイを聞く。それは認めます。
なら決まりです。やっぱり退屈で帰ります。
Turned around and started walking. Here it comes. Even though Satoshi-kun's dead? Get anxious, but instead spoke a little louder.
でもね、シオン、私が聞きたいのはサトシさんの事件当日の昨日のアリバイなんです。
昨日？なんで昨日のアリバイなんかが聞かれるんですか？
Scary music. Satoshi-kun's gone.
昨日のサトシ君のアリバイがおばさんが殺された事件とどう関係があるって。
昨日サトシ君が出かけたまま失踪されたからです。
This is scary music. Satoshi-kun's gone. Scary music.
サトシ君が失踪されたことはご存知なかった。
Couldn't say anything, but my expression answered Oishi's question anyway.
どういうことですか？失踪って。
やっぱり座ったらどうです？
サトシ君が失踪したって何？
一つ確実に分かっていることは、彼が3時前に沖宮の郵便局で貯金を全額下ろしているということだけです。
This is some good ambient music though.
その後の足取りはつかめません。
I knew why he withdrew that money. He wanted to buy Satoko's birthday present. Yes, he definitely bought that teddy bear yesterday.
これは私の想像ですよ。彼はひょっとしてそのお金で
逃走資金だってんです。バッカバカしい。あのお金はね、サトコのそれであのおもちゃ屋にあった逃走に使うお金になんかなるわ。
確かにあのおもちゃ屋から一番高いぬいぐるみが売れていました。でもね、それをサトシ君が
店の人に聞けばそんなのは私とサトシ君で買う予約も。
I had a bad feeling. The old man who was watching the store was sleeping when we were there. He looked very senile. Maybe he was also watching that store on that day, and even though Satoshi-kun bought the teddy bear, he didn't remember. Wish he put on a wry smile. It looked like he'd already tried to question that old man.
あれを買ったのはサトシ君なん。サトシ君はぬいぐるみ代を支払ってめちゃめちゃもいいとこです。
いいです。じゃあサトシ君がぬいぐるみをじゃあそのぬいぐるみを持ってどうして帰らなかったんですか？
At that point, I felt as though my heart had turned to ice. I'm just curious. Okay. I'm just. It just looks. It's just so crazy the differences between the two. Satoshi-kun had been really working hard to buy that teddy bear, though he was under extreme mental and physical stress. After that, he finally managed to buy it. It's unthinkable that somebody else just showed up and bought that same teddy bear. The teddy bear was gone because Satoshi-kun bought it. Nobody else. But if so, Satoshi-kun should have given it to Satoko. But though he brought a present for her, he didn't come home. He didn't come home. That wasn't possible. He would have gone straight home with that teddy bear. He wouldn't think of running away after buying the teddy bear. Even though Satoshi-kun wanted to run away from the police, he'd never leave without giving Satoko her present. Anyway, it must have been Satoshi-kun who bought that teddy bear. I can say with 100% certainty. The question was, why didn't he bring it home? The teddy bear was huge. It wouldn't fit into the basket of a bicycle. He might have brought some straps to tie it to his bike. He wouldn't have thought of running away on a wobbly bicycle like that. He necessarily had to go home after buying the teddy bear from the store after withdrawing the money. Nothing could have happened while he was going to the ATM and the toy store, but going from the toy store home, stuff could have happened. It was impossible. Nobody else could have bought that teddy bear. I think we're looking at the wrong time frame. I think he went to the ATM, bought the teddy bear, was about to go, but everybody knows that he was saving up to buy that teddy bear. It wasn't like a secret that he was saving up for Satoko's birthday, right? So someone could easily have jumped him right as he was outside, just like they jumped us, the police. Nobody wanted it. It was impossible that it could have been somebody else. There should be no question that he went to the toy store and withdrew the money. What about the route between his toy store and his home? There shouldn't be any question there. Okay, explain. He shouldn't have been able to do anything with that huge toy. He shouldn't have even thought of making a stop on the way. Yeah, exactly. He must have headed home right after he bought the teddy bear and then kidnapped by the Sonozaki family. But nobody saw him after that? It was simple then. Satoshi-kun went missing on his way home from the toy store. He went missing? What did that mean? I was sure he killed his aunt. He's not that shrewd. Maybe he couldn't handle the pressure from the police? Was he resigned to the idea that the police were going to arrest him soon, regardless of my help? Did he decide to run away? Did he think he should disappear until things cooled down rather than get arrested? That was definitely absolutely impossible. It was impossible that he came to the conclusion on his way home from that toy store. Even if he did, he would have waited until he gave Satoko her birthday present. Satoshi-kun loves Satoko. He shouldn't have spoiled her like that, but anyway, he always tried to be a good brother to her. He would never disappear before going home. I felt as though ice was cutting through my heart, expanding the frost. If Satoshi-kun didn't disappear by his own will, the answer was simple. Satoshi-kun disappeared by somebody else's will.
サトシ君が。あ、あ、バカバカしいです。
Okay. First I thought I could shake off the frost in my heart if I laughed loudly enough. I was gonna say that I don't know if that's an effective strategy. I kept laughing until it happened. I kept laughing. All the cops in the room stared at me. They thought I'd gone crazy. That's the side effect of laughing. I didn't care what they thought. I kept laughing until it turned into a cough. Finished laughing and took a sip of my lukewarm coffee. I felt as though the frost in my heart had spread all throughout my guts. I was chilled to the bone. I was freezing. My fingers shook as I held the coffee cup. I kind of knew this was coming. Ever since they were like, ever since you were like, I love Satoshi-kun. Not that it was a secret, but that was a terrible thing to say.
シオンさん、ちょっと口を挟まずに、これから私がちょいと全部出ちゃう。だからきっとシオンさんはあまりのいい加減なの。それでも最後まで黙って約束してもらう。
いや、約束なんて何でもするから。早く言いなさいよ。
I was feeling far too cold. My teeth were chattering. I felt as though my brain had frozen as well. I lost my ability to think. I couldn't do anything by myself. I could only do as Uishi told me. What he was going to tell me might be the worst possible theory, but I had to listen to it.
死んだおばがサトシ君とサトコさんをいじめていたことはよーく聞いています。中でも、その中で、サトシ君が妹をかばう。私は人として自然な流れだと思います。
I had to deny that Satoshi-kun murdered her, but what Uishi was saying was true. I couldn't deny his hypothesis right away. I just kept silent.
ここからは空想ですよ。絶対に起こらない。口を挟むのもいいですね。
分かってるから早く続けなさいよ。
北条サトシはおば殺しを計画。ねえ、もちろん全部私のも。
分かってるって。あんたの妄想なんだから早く続けて。
ここで話は変わります。シオンさん、あなたはサトシ君との交際を禁じられたんですよね。
This is some good ambience. Some string hits?
もう忘れろ。二度と関わるなと念をされたんですよね。それは実は不仲な両家の関係を意味嫌ったからでなく、殺人犯と園崎家の令嬢が恋仲であることに問題があったんじゃないかと思ったんです。
It is actually possible. After all, I was pretending to be Mion. I already had a connection with Satoshi-kun. Before anyone knew, it was Shion who was spending time around him. I could have been accused while I was helping out the Hinamizawa fighters if the relationship between the Hyojos and the Sonozakis was a problem. It wouldn't be difficult for the Sonozaki family to know that Satoshi-kun murdered his aunt if it happened in Hinamizawa. Maybe one of them even saw the murder. The Sonozaki family didn't like that I was in love with a murderer. They decided to step in.
あと、つまり園崎本家にサトシ君との縁を切りかねていましたよね。
I couldn't deny that. I lost most of my means to access Hinamizawa, so my ties to Satoshi-kun were essentially cut, true. But I still knew Satoshi-kun's phone number, And I expected him to join the Hinamizawa fighters eventually.
園崎本家はサトシ君とあなたの縁はあなたをいくら脅してもどうにもならない。じゃあもう一人の方をどうにかする。
どうにかって何よ。何
I feel like when you ask stupid questions like that, I always dislike main characters' actions. It's like a horror movie when you're like, don't go in the closet. It's more like, don't say that shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing? What would they have done? They would have killed him. Of course. The fuck do you think they did? What's X? X marks the spot where his path is interrupted. But what interrupted it? Why couldn't Satoshi-kun make it home from the toy store if something interrupted him? Why? What's X? X! Ran out of air, became dizzy, and then collapsed. The floor felt cold. I felt no pain. I had fallen to the floor like a plastic doll. Oishi and the others rushed over to me and held me up.
落ち着いてシオンさん。サトシ君が殺されたとはまだ限りません。
You're not certain he was killed. What the fuck are you talking about? Did you know about that torture room where they forced me to rip off my fingernails? Don't you know that they say there are prison cells and a well for disposing of corpses in the back? The Sotozaki family wants to eliminate somebody. They definitely kill him in that torture room and dump the body down there. You're not certain? Are you dumb? Is your brain made of tofu? If I were in the Hag's position, I'd kill him for sure. I wouldn't let him get away. And if I would kill him, then the Hag would definitely kill him.
シオンさん、これはまだ未確認情報ですが、名古屋駅で家出人風の若者、東京行きの新幹線に乗った服装の特徴などが一致しませんでしたが、警察の服装が違うからサトシ君でないとは。
生きてるのサトシ君。生きて。
ここからもまた私のあなたの双子のお姉さん次期当主ということで、園崎お涼はそれをあなたのお姉さんが止めたんじゃないかと思うんです。
That's not possible. He was always so indecisive. She should have been clear if she wanted to save him or not. Probably seemed vague about that. She must have been. That's not possible. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that one bit.
園崎本家はサトシ君と接し、今回の事件はかばいきれない。だから、いや、強要したと言った方が似合うでしょうね。
サトシ君はだってあのサトシ君が妹を一人。
私も確かサトシ君はだからサトシ君に逃走資金になるまとまったお金がある。
でもサトシ君はそのお金をぬいぐる
でしょうね。サトシ君は貯金を下ろしたら、でもサトシ君がおもちゃ屋にたどり着くと、もうぬいぐるみが売れてしまっていて、なくなっていたら。
That's a good explanation to that. They told him to get out. They bought the teddy bear so he couldn't buy the teddy bear. And with nothing left, he left. But at the same time, I think he'd rather die than leave his sister behind. Right? Am I correct in thinking that about Satoshi-kun's character? Like, it just seems like maybe he would die before doing that shit. He went to the toy store with that money in order to buy his beloved sister a present. That was the only purpose for that money. He must have looked for the teddy bear as he'd always done. But it was gone. He wouldn't have gone into a panic right away, because he was always so optimistic. He might have thought the store was wrapping the gift for him since he told them that he'd pick it up that day. He must have gone in the store joyously. I couldn't guess at exactly what happened next. My heart would tear up if I tried to imagine it anyway. Why they didn't have it? Why didn't they have it even though he had reserved it? or had it reserved? Did that old man understand the situation, or was he just zoning out? Maybe it would have been the same even if it wasn't the old man at the store that time. If a bunch of fierce-looking subordinates from the Sonozaki family went in and showed them the money, nobody could have rejected it. Satoshi-kun must have sunk into silence. No matter how hard he complained, the teddy bear was gone. Probably never even considered that his dream might be taken away. He must have been wobbling his way home in sorrow, leaning on the telephone poles every now and then. It was the day he wanted Satoko to be happy the most. He couldn't get the present she wanted the most. He probably didn't think of getting another gift, because it was unimaginable that he couldn't get that teddy bear. He might have imagined how Satoko would react when she found out he had no present for her. It must have looked unbelievably sad and empty. The money he'd been saving meant nothing anymore. Satoshi-kun never cried even at his toughest moments. Did he even know how to cry? It was always Satoko who was crying. The Satoshi-kun never learned how to cry, and he grew up that way. Did you know? People shed sadness from their hearts with tears. Satoshi-kun wasn't even allowed to do that. Even though his heart was filled with sorrow, he couldn't let it out.
妹を一人残してひなみ沢を離れられないと言いましたね。
You insisted he leave Satoko.
でももし園崎本家が残った聡子さんの面倒は見るって言ってあったとしたらどう思います？
After Satoshi-kun found out the teddy bear was gone, all he had left were some crumpled bills. The family told him it was just a matter of time before the police got to him. They told him to run away. They said they'd take care of Satoko. Okay, that makes more sense. They're explaining shit to me like I'm a first grader, and I appreciate that very much. That makes sense. I'm on board with the story now. I get it. Iwander found himself at Okinomiya Station. Got it. Must have been apologizing to Satoko so many times in his mind. He swore to come back someday. He headed to Nagoya, and then to Tokyo. But that meant he's alive. Alive. I should be able to see him again someday. He must be coming back, so I'll definitely see him again.
そうしてずっ
I
と
don't know
遠
though.
方に隠れ家か受け入れ先を用意してくれたんじゃないかと思います。サトシ君はそこを目指
じゃあいつか帰ってくるんですよね。
Uishi looked up at the ceiling and stretched. He didn't answer me. Couldn't you find out? Couldn't you find out whether or not he actually went to Tokyo or not by looking at the tapes in Tokyo? Just calling up Tokyo, being like, "Hey, what's going on with this murder suspect? You might have a murderer over there, you know?" Because I feel like that was still up in the air, right? And then Tokyo would give you the tapes so you could do the research. I'm just saying. Like you could definitely tell where he is. And if he didn't appear on the other side, or if it was just a fake, you would know immediately. There's a possibility that he ran away. He was the prime suspect of the murder that happened on the 20th of the same month. Allegedly, someone resembling him was seen at the Nagoya station on a train to Tokyo, but the truth is unknown. No one has seen him since. So is that with us contacting Tokyo? What the what was that? No. Show me what was just said. So are we saying that we checked the tapes in Tokyo and we did not see him get off? Like, what's going on there? Oh, really? It's going to go to this, so I can't see what was just said. Alright, let's read the tips. See what's kind of going on. This might be a shorter episode. I don't know how long these tips are going to be. Notebook? Are these different notebooks? These are purple notebooks. Aren't they blue and orange? No, looks like they're purplish. Okay, so this is what? Okay, so they're all purplish. So the newest two are just part of Shion's diary, even though they look more purple than I remember them. The information that Satoshi-kun might have headed to Tokyo hasn't been verified. It started as follows. A young man came to the lost and found window looking for his wallet. The station employee asked him to write down his name on the form. Then the young man started writing Kyojo as his name, but stopped in the middle as he crumpled the form and wrote a totally different name on another form. Another station employee witnessed a similar-looking young man rushing in to the train heading to Tokyo. The employee from Lost and Found and the employee who was on the platform talked about the suspicious young man in the locker room. Oh. The wallet of the man named Hyojo was never reported as found to the Lost and Found office. Okay. At first I thought Ueshi's theory that the Sonozaki family banished Satoshi-kun from Hinamizawa and looked after Satoko in return was bogus. But thinking about it now, it doesn't seem too far-fetched. Yeah. This visual novel's pulling a Danganronpa. It really is. It's like, that would never happen. And it's like, oh yeah, remember this? And how this could totally happen? It's exactly what Danganronpa does. After all, Satoshi-kun started living with Rika Furude and Satoshi-kun's disappearance. Rika Furude isn't just a regular girl. She was the head of the Furude family, one of the three families. The head of the Kimiyoshi family is Rika Furude's guardian. The Sonozaki family probably couldn't step in due to having been officially exposed or opposed to the Hyojo family. But Satoko Hyojo is in the custody of the three families now. Even though the Hyojo family was severely ostracized during the dam conflict, Satoko Hyojo was now under protection. It seems as though only Satoko was exempted from blame. Why was she spared even though Satoshi-kun wasn't? Dude, oh, it's only 30 minutes. I want to keep going. I feel like at first when they made it seem like Satoshi-kun was a real dick by leaving, but I understand the reasoning behind that is to cast suspicion on Satoshi-kun's exit. There's problems with this beginning though. And the one thing that I will say is that it doesn't explain all the endings, all the beginnings. I had asked originally, it's like, well, is this the beginning to all the chapters, more or less? But I don't know. The problem with this beginning is that it does not explain at all. Remember when I started bringing a bat to school? I think it's just that first one that it doesn't... It happened in the first chapter, right? Where I started bringing the bat, and I pretended like I was playing baseball. And then they were like, that's what Satoshi-kun did. Doesn't seem like he did that at all in this beginning. So, although this may be the beginning for all of them, it just doesn't make too much sense. I also want to go back to the time... we're going to continue, by the way. We're not going to end it here. So that way you're not just waiting for nothing. Let's just hit the continue button, see what happens. And I'll save it somewhere. I also think that the Hive Mind theory makes a lot of sense here. If we say that Rika's like a soothsayer, right? And that's not possible in real life unless you believe in like the supernatural, like fortune tellingness, which I don't necessarily do. Rika's a fortune teller. But correct, but she's actually a fortune teller. She's not like a gimmick that people use to make money. It's like she's an actual fortune teller. She's an actual soothsayer. It would only make sense that like maybe that's a hive mind thing going on. I doubt that's probably not what's going on. But it's just a theory that holds up pretty well. As far as like what's going on, why the town is able to unite. Like pretty much with no objections. None of them disagree with each other. And that might just be because
信頼できる筋の噂ですが、サトシ君のおば殺しの犯人が見つかったらしいです。
Okay. Satoshi-kun still hadn't been a fan. I don't know. Okay. I had no no new information about his whereabouts. Kasai's report came as a result completely out of the
そ
blue.
れって警察。
聞いた話では逮捕というより別件で取り調べを受けていた男が余罪として自供したんだとか。
It sounded strange. If it was Satoshi-kun they arrested, he wouldn't have worded it that way. It sounded as though Satoshi-kun wasn't the
葛
culprit.
西、結局犯人って誰だったの？
All those final words. I was convinced that it was Satoshi-kun. The police in Oishi must have thought the same way. The reason Oishi approached me is because he was convinced that Satoshi-kun did it.
ご安心を。サトシ君ではないようです。連続開始事件を模倣した異常者の犯行という。
はい？異常者？何それ？
さあ、何しろ今回の事件は秘匿捜査指定というものがなのでほとんど情報が出回らないんです。
秘匿捜査？何それ？
連続開始事件による誘拐事件なんかでも犯人との交渉が行われている間は新聞に載らなかったりする、ああいう類のものらしいです。
Come to think of it, I hadn't seen anything about the aunt's murder in the TV or newspaper.
何しろ4年連続で綿流しの日に事件がお社様のたたりだと。そうそう、何でもそのおば殺しの異常者ですが。
Because I didn't know of anything else, so instead of probing him further, I reviewed the information myself. I was really shocked to learn all this. I was convinced that Satoshi-kun killed her. I thought that was the reason he had to disappear. But it was actually some lunatic who killed her, and he had no relation to the aunt whatsoever. Did Satoshi-kun had nothing to do with the murder? If so, why did he disappear? I couldn't accept that this lunatic had killed the aunt. And what's really strange is that the phrase Kasai used 4 years in a row now. After all, I'd been thinking that this murder happened because Satoshi-kun had been in a dire situation and had nothing to do with the series of mysterious deaths. I felt as though Satoshi-kun's case had become somebody else's. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is also known as the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. Satoshi-kun's case had become one of those mysterious deaths. In other words, Satoshi-kun's case had become a part of Oyashiro-sama's curse. We're also forgetting that Keiichi had witnessed another dimension pretty much when he killed the uncle. And I'm thinking that maybe there's that other dimension that's at play here somewhere. I don't know the rules, so... I don't know the rules. I didn't like the way that sounded, because it was as though the curse had swallowed Satoshi-kun.
例の東京行きの新幹線に乗ったらしいという正直なところ、県の中にいるのか外にいるのか、それすらも分かっちゃいません。
Oishi broke the seal on a can of new instant coffee.
あれだけ胸を張ってサトシ君が犯人だと息巻いていたから、もう行方をつかんでるとばかり思ってました。
いやいや、情けない限りです。しかし耳が早いな。
はい？
秘匿捜査指定だってのに、どこの誰が漏らしてるやら。やれやれ。うちの傍聴も問題があるな。
Oishi smirked. Seemed he knew why I was here today.
多少の噂は耳にできますということで。
I smirked back at him. It's all about
は
bluffing.
い、腹を割り合っていいですよ。
まず聞かせてください。真犯人って異常者とか聞きましたけど。
どういうこと？そりゃ私だって。私はサトシ君が犯人のとんだ万馬券が飛び出したもんです。
She threw himself on the sofa, crossed his hands behind his head, and looked up at the ceiling, smiled wryly.
先日ですね、県警の方から急に連絡が、すでに逮捕して取り調べをしている男が主婦殺し、
それは何者？
薬に手を出したとんでもない野郎でした。出所しては捕まるの繰り返し。ひなみ沢村連続開始事件が面白そうだったんで、
間違いなくそいつが。
私が直接話を。先方が取った供述調書には、いわゆる犯人しか知り得ない情報ってやつががっつりと含まれていたんですよ。
Hive Mind.
凶器を王子川のどこかで捨てたって言ってましてね。今はドブさらいの最中。これで供述通りに
たとえ凶器が見つからなくても。
確定で現場の状況と仏の状況を正確に供述しています。襲った本人にしかわからないような細かいあたりまで。
納得は。
It just seems like
実はね、とっくに亡くなってるんですよ。うちに連絡があった時にはすでに。
亡くなってる？
給食とかに出てくるでしょ。さっき留置場の食事にもあれがそいつを飲み込んで窒息したんだとか、自殺なのか錯乱なのかちょっと区別がつかないですがね。だから十分に納得するまで調べられたわけじゃありません。私は納得できないんですがね。どうもその愉快犯が主婦殺しの犯人ってことで決着しそうな流れです。
it's just what I
他の
personally.
誰にも内緒ということで。私はこの大バカたりは何かの間違い、何かの偶然による壮大な勘違いか、もしくは
全然意味わかんないですよ、大石のおじさま。
私は今でも
きっぱり言い切りますね。
残念ながら現場検証では犯人サトシ君が失踪した後、家を改めさせても。
それでもサトシ君が犯人だと疑ってる。
ねえ、
証拠もないのにどうやったらそこまで大したもんです。長年の勘ってやつですか？
この道で何十年も飯を食ってきた男の直感です。
Rishi smiled in satisfaction, but didn't feel relieved.
サトシ君は。
サトシ君が失踪した理由の一つこそが、サトシ君が犯人でないなら。
おば殺しの犯人はその愉快犯で、サトシ君失踪は私とサトシ君の仲を。おば殺しとは無関係という考え方は？
Was Satoshi-kun a culprit or a victim? The reason for his disappearance had become unclear.
私は旧敵との恋仲程度で人一人。実際園崎家の内部、シオンさんはそのあたり。
知っていたらこんなとこに来ません。
ごもっともごもっとも。
After he stopped laughing, he leaned over.
よーし、なら一つどうですかね。協定を結びませんか。紳士協定。
協定？何のです？
サトシ君失踪事件。裏の界隈でサトシ君の失踪に関する情報を得られたら、私にも、もちろん私もサトシ君についての情報が入ったらあなたに提供します。いかがです？
なんだか一方的な虫のいい話に思えますけど。
Rishi chuckled.
シオンさん、このまま行くと主婦殺しの犯人はすでに死んでるその大バカタレってことで確定すると。そうなるとサトシ君の扱いは単なる家出人になります。つまり積極的な捜査は打ち切られるということです。ですが私だけはサトシ君の行方を引き。シオンさんも私も。
目的が全然違い。私は単に無事を確認したいだけですが。
主婦殺しが決着すればサトシ君は無実ってことになり、真実はどうか。
怪しいもん。
まあ今後も仲良くやりましょう。敵の敵は味方とも言いますしね。
別に私園崎本家と敵対しているわけじゃありませんよ。
なあ、本当ならそりゃ失礼。
The way of Kurata Oishi, huh? Assistant Kasai said I wouldn't want him as my enemy or my ally because both would be too risky. I probably shouldn't let my guard down in front of this big fat weasel. I sipped on the coffee to fill up the silence, though I wasn't thirsty. Outside the window I could see normal life taking its course, but Satoshi-kun wasn't there. He should have been there, but he wasn't. I was scared that I might grow some used to his absence someday. Where was he?
サトシ君は
無事だと
生きてる可能性は薄い。気休め言わないでほしい。
サトシ君の失踪ひな鬼隠しにあったなんて言われてるんだとか。
He went away means the same thing as being spirited away. Part of the local dialect.
鬼が淵の間の
That's a good
底の
movie.
鬼の国にさらわれたって。
Like one of my favorite movies just to kind of watch in my free time. Spirited Away is so good because it's like there's a story, but it's like, Spirited Away. Oh, I want to watch it again. He was kidnapped to hell at the bottom. That's my favorite movie.
バカバカしい。
It's so chill to watch.
とにもかくにも連続開始事件もこれで4年目です。気の早い話ですがね、
おば殺しがお社様のたたりの
全体的に見てみれば仏も北条家の一人。ダム戦争の戦犯と縁がないわけじゃないですからね。しかもまたしても綿流しの日にとなれば。
バカバカしい。何がお社様のたたりだ。
Though I said that, I couldn't quite wipe away the fear from my mind. Why did Satoshi-kun disappear? Is it the Sonozaki family? Did he run away from the police? Stop asking questions. Did he kill his aunt in the first place? It's just more shit that I don't have the answer to. Why did he even disappear? He's on his own. Shirosama's curse has nothing to do with it, but that's strange. Satoshi-kun and Oyashiro-sama's curse. Somebody once mentioned those two together before. When did I hear that? Oh, I don't remember. Oh, that's right. Oh. Well, duh. Fucking Rena's the bearer of bad shit. You're taking shelter in that sack. I remember the creepy story that she told me at that time.
サトシ君は心のどこかでひなみ沢を捨ててどこかへ逃げ出したいと思ってるから。
And I definitely pointed out that Satoshi-kun wanted to leave Hinamizawa at that time. He also said, or she
サ
also
トシ
said,
君が体験していることはすべてお社様のたたりの前触れなの。
duh, she's like the catalyst because we have no information on her. They could literally turn Rena into anything. This visual novel could make Rena anything, and I'd be like, yeah, sure. Because there's no information on her, except for the fact that she was kicked out of her school for being stupid, or for being crazy. Toshi-kun being controlled by the curse? Is that why he killed his... Yeah, probably. Can't be true. Satoshi-kun's smile faded away in my mind. Satoshi-kun disappeared. Not only that, the reason for his disappearance also disappeared. Must have been done by a human being. I can't accept that he was demoned away. Alright. I think that's a good stopping point. Because if we get into something here... Community Hall. I moved from one chair to another because the air conditioning was too cold. That's a good place to stop. So, I guess we'll just save real quick. We'll save over top of this, because why not? So, the interesting thing about this situation is that we don't know the rules. I know I've been saying that, but we know more and more of the rules as the story kind of goes on a little bit. But we're still asking questions. Even now, it's kind of like, yeah, we have the answer to, okay, here's what happened to Satoshi-kun. Okay. The two options for Satoshi-kun were either that he ran away, or he got killed. Those were the two options from the start. From the very, very moment that we heard, it was either that he ran away or that he got killed. And that was the two options throughout the whole game. And still, to this moment in time, we still don't know, although it's very likely that he tried to run and then got killed. We still don't know, basically, is what I'm saying to you. The only information that I think that we've gathered, really, is that Rena can tell the future, or not Rena, Rika can tell the future. So Rika could be the kind of the head person that knows everything. Rena's a wild card. They could literally put Rena in any situation. I'd be like, yes. The only thing that you could tell me that I would not believe is that Rena is a perfectly normal, insane girl that has nothing to do with the plot. If you tell me that, then I am not going to believe that, obviously. But literally anything else. You could tell me that she's an animal and that she goes at night and kills people at night. I have no idea. I mean, it would make sense, right? Because she's bashful. She broke all the windows. Like, that animal spirit's not letting her do anything. I don't know. That's just the most random thing that I could come up with, is that she turns into an animal and murders people when she wants to. She's obviously a bearer of Oishiro-sama's curse. She obviously knows a lot about that, so I'm guessing she has something to do with that. But when you look at her family status, she has nothing to do. I mean, I've talked about her at nauseum, and how we don't know anything about her. And how whenever she's on screen, she has those scary eyes. And when you mention Satoshi-kun, Rena gets scary. In any game, really, it doesn't matter which one. So now we're left with the situation where we still don't know what happened with Satoshi. Shion is out of the loop just as much as we were. So she's going to have to get into the loop somehow. My original thought was that Shion would have the information. She's part of the Sonozaki family. She would know a bunch of stuff. She doesn't. She has to investigate the stuff just like we would have to. I don't know. There's some stuff in the diaries that mention... So, oh yeah, that guy. On the topic of that guy who supposedly murdered the person, it could easily be a plant, especially if we're talking about that Hive Mind thing. Like, now that I've thought about it, like, that Hive Mind thing just sounds more and more plausible. You put Rika at the head of the Hive Mind, or not even. You just have them all connect. It doesn't really matter who's the head, because all of them agree on everything in Hinamizawa. So it's very weird. EDA is a wild card. We don't know anything about EDA. He seems evil sometimes. He seems good sometimes. Oishi-san. I don't know what the correct term for me to use for him is. But Oishi seems like this guy that's like evil or good depending on what story we're on. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to have any answers until I get answers from the game. But the more I think about, I don't know why it's so credible in my head that this is a hive mind. The only reason I'm hesitant to say that it's for sure what's going on, because it explains so much of the story. No, but then I don't know. But then what's the deal with the doppelganger that Keiichi had? Because that doesn't make sense. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense, and it's going to continue to not make sense, and I'm guessing until the very end. It's just how they keep you playing the game, because you got to figure out what's going on by yourself, but I don't really have the information to do that. Well, maybe I do. It's going to be interesting to look back on this episode and just be like, oh, okay. After it's all said and done, I'd be interested to see if there was a point in which I would have figured it out. That's the interesting part, is that and I compare it to Steins Gate a lot, because Steins Gate was the best visual novel that I've played in a while. Steins Gate, it was very much like once you learned what was going on, it was like, oh fuck, now this makes sense and this makes sense. How are they gonna do this? Oh shit. This game is like that. I imagine it's like that because there's no way that it's not like that. But like worse because it's all the way at the end. Like I'm not gonna get anything until the very end. I guarantee you, it's gonna be like chapter 6, chapter 7. That's not true. I might learn something by chapter 6 because I believe when I look at chapter 6, there's like Keiichi on the front. So I'm thinking that's when Keiichi shows up. We're gonna learn the inner workings of everything that happened with Keiichi, hopefully, because we're learning a little bit about Satoshi's situation. Although we still have the same information, really. Nothing's really advanced. Besides I mean, obviously we didn't know about Shion's relationship to Satoshi. I don't know. I'm just confused. I want to know I want to know what's with Rena. I want to know what's with Satoshi still. I want to know what's with the demons. Please let me in the demon club, please. I would love to be in the demon club. I will try my best. Rika Hive Mind possibility, question mark? I don't know. I'm going to stop talking before I annoy the crap out of everybody watching, which has already happened, guaranteed. But it's just so much that I have to think about and that I'm constantly thinking about. But that when I look back, oh, I cannot wait to finish this game and just look back on this episode and laugh my ass off. Because I don't know if it's possible yet to figure out the ending. Because I don't know how magical they're willing to get. That's the problem. If I knew how magical this game wants to get with me, I would be all set. I would be like, okay, well, I mean, obviously, like if it wouldn't be fun if they were just like, this is how magical the game is. And then I knew immediately, obviously. And that's the appeal. It's just, I haven't seen an ounce of magic. But it's so clearly pointing to that there's magic. Or that there's demons involved. And I use magic as supernatural, I guess is what I really mean. They hint at the supernatural so much that it's almost impossible that there's not supernatural elements. I'm going to stop talking. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the episode, please hit the like button. I apologize for rambling on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But it's just kind of how my brain works. And I'm trying to figure out everything when I might not even have the information available to me. I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. But I'm going to know eventually. I'll see you guys in the next episode, whenever that may be. And peace out, you guys.